Hello guys, we're going to be looking at Arcane Mage now. Arcane's, you know, it's always held a special place in my heart, to be fair. I love Arcane. I'm a big fan of Arcane Mage because for me, Mage is Arcane. You know, you're these dudes that study all the time. And I know, my little girl doesn't agree, but there we go. And they just, they have this overwhelming power. You know, for me, when the tooltip changed and they had this tooltip of manipulate the arcane, destroying your enemies' overwhelming power, I love that. Anyway, so not really many changes, to be fair. It's a few little bits and pieces, but we'll start with the talent list. So tier 1, the rule of threes. Again, I don't know how much of this is arcane power. Arcane artifact power. Traits, because I know they brought a lot over. For example, in the talent list, Fire's getting Phoenix Flames and Frost got Ebon Bolt. So I don't know how much has actually been brought over from the artifact power weapon for Arcane, but I'll just go through the talent list with you. Rule of threes: when you gain your third arcane charge, the cost of your next arcane blast or arcane missiles is reduced by 100%. There's a difference now that arcane missiles can just be cast. It doesn't need to be, proc to cast it. You can just cast it over and over and over and over and over. Literally over and over and over, and yeah, that's it. But to me, I quite like, because Arcane Missiles is a really fun spell, I think, so to be able to just cast it when you want is cool. So rule of threes basically just means when you get to your third stack of arcane power, your fourth stack's free, which is nice because that's usually when it's the most cost. Mana Adept is good though, because when you're above 8% mana, you're getting additional missiles from your Arcane Missiles, so this is different as well, which is nice. Arcane Familiar hasn't changed from live, it's still the same. So still giving you 10% maximum mana. Your tier 2 list, so Mana Shield. Obviously you've got Prismatic Barrier, which is Arcane's version of Ice Barrier. Out of all of them though, it is the best one, I reckon. I mean, no, let's be honest, Ice Barrier slow is pretty good, but this one here reduces damage from magic damage taken for 15% and also reduces the duration of harmful magic effects. So if you've got Prismatic Barrier up, Sheep's ain't gonna last as long, Fear ain't gonna last as long, Dots ain't gonna last as long. It's just really anti-magic, which is nice because Arcane is meant to be anti-magic, really. But that's from a PvP standpoint. Shimmer is on there as well, though. A lot of mages have been taking Shimmer because it just means you can relocate during a polymorph cast and just guarantee you get that cast off. But Slipstream is quite nice because it just means while you're clear casting, so that's when at the moment on live that procs and you can then cast Arcane Missiles, right? Well, Arcane Missiles you can cast all the time. However, you can't cast and move with Arcane Missiles unless you have a clear casting buff. So now I have a clear casting buff, I can now cast Arcane Missiles while moving. So I quite like that. But the main thing as well is also Evocation can be channeled while moving. So instead of you having to go around a pillar and evocate, you can just be evocating on the move. Yeah? Which, again, is nice. I like the gameplay change. A lot of people still go Shimmer because it is still pretty strong. However, it depends on how strong stuns are in BFA PvP. Because if you can stun lock and kill a mage, you'll be damn sure a lot of mages will be going Blink again to remove that stun. Next tier though is exactly the same as live. Countless Flow, Mirror's Image, and Rune of Power are all the same. No changes in the cooldowns or the tooltip. Level 60, Arcane Barrage deals 15% increased damage per target hit, same as live. Charged Up, same as live. Supernova, same as live. Go-to for me has always been Charged Up because it just means you can get that instant burst off. Again, I'm mainly a PvP when it comes to WoW, which I know a lot of you will see as a cardinal sin because it's a PvE game. That's fine, I'm going to go through both sides of it, but for me Charged Up is the better talent there for PvP. Resonance will obviously be for you PvEers there if you want to do that AoE damage increase or Supernova, but even Charged Up to a point because it just means you can get your damage out. Chrono Shift is good, 50% slow on Arcane Barrage, and it gives you a 50% movement speed as well. You still got slow as Arcane, so you're not lacking slows, but that just gives you 50% more movement speed and a free slow because you'll be casting Arcane Barrage anyway. Ice Ward and Ring of Frost remain the same. No changes there at all. Erosion, same as live. Unstable Magic has gone from 50% less damage to 40% additional damage, instead of 50. And we've got Nether Tempest here as well, which is again exactly the same as live. I've just had to mute the sound then because something was going crazy then. Loads of sound just started coming through from that Warlock. Anyway, Nether Tempest, exactly the same. Some people go it, some people don't. I prefer Arcane. I prefer Unstable Magic because it just means an Arcane Blast have a chance to hit that much harder. But that's just me. Overpowered is pretty decent. Now, increases damage by 60% and reduces mana cost by 60%. So Arcane Power only lasts about 10 seconds. But for that 10 seconds, you've got ridiculous damage. I mean, hugely so. And it's only on a 1.5 minute cooldown, so that's quite strong. Temporal Flux, so, is also decent. They made a change that, again, I assume it's a change, I apologise if it's not, but Evocation now, 1.5 minute cooldown, so it's a lower cooldown, but it now increases your mana regeneration by 750%, so it scales off your mastery. Whereas before it just gave you a flat amount of mana back, didn't it? Whereas now it increases mana regeneration, so that's a little bit of a change. So I don't really know how much that really will affect us. I mean, you can see my mana bar there. I'm just literally going to spam. I'll go charged up so I get 4 stacks. I'm just going to spam Arcane Blast out, get myself pretty huge, and then we're going to cast Evocation and see how much it really does recharge. Because the nice thing about that last talent is the fact that 5 seconds later it happens again. So let's just do Evocation. So that's pretty sweet. That's pretty much a full bar of mana, which before I don't think it was. You know, I think it was like 75%, 80%. So that's really nice. So it means you can go back to spamming at 4 stacks, and then 5 seconds later, after you pretty much oomed yourself again after 5 seconds, it happens again. So that's a strong period of damage there. Arcane Orb hasn't changed, same thing as before. You throw it forward, it gives you an arcane charge every time it does damage. I've never enjoyed Arcane Orb. I like the idea of it. I play Diablo 3, I play Wizard I play Liming in Heroes of the Storm. Arcane Orb for me is a really, really, like, you know, cool ability. But for this, for WoW, when you've got 2 talents like Overpowered and Temporal Flux, I mean, these 2 talents are really, really strong. Arcane Orb just doesn't cut it, to be honest. You're never going to have any issue with Arcane Charge generation, so for me it's a bit lackluster. Temporal Flux is interesting. I quite enjoy that kind of gameplay. Numbers can change, tooltips can change. For me, it's about gameplay and, you know, also immersion and lore. When I'm creating a character and I'm looking at Arcane, I'm thinking, why would I want to be an Arcane Mage? Why would I? And I see overwhelming power. I see, you know, mastering the Arcane, overwhelming destruction, boom, dead. Those kind of talents really kind of stick out for me. Overpowered especially, because, you know, you're just basically becoming this almost like Archon mode in Diablo 3, or even in Heroes of the Storm. You know, you're becoming this absolute monster for a limited amount of time, but you're still a monster. So for me, those are really immersive talents. Arcane Orb isn't. Rather, it is, but it should be made base and then something else added. That's my opinion. But yeah, for me it's immersion, and that really doesn't really stand out as massive. Nether Tempest and Erosion are all cool talents. There's a lot of cool things here. A lot of it's the same. I've mentioned it in all my other videos. I'll mention it in this one as well. BFA is not going to be groundbreaking for class changes. It's not going to be groundbreaking. It's going to be fine-tuning. What you're used to now is what it's going to be. And there's going to be just a little bit of fine-tuning, get rid of the clunkiness. I did a couple of videos on Warlock. Demo especially has had a lot of clunkiness removed. It's a really nice spec now. It's been fine-tuned. Arcane didn't really need that much love. It's still where it is now in Legion, really. So the talent spec changes, you know, aren't really that different. Still, if you enjoy playing Arcane now, you'll enjoy playing it in BFA. So that's all for me, guys, on the Arcane Mage video. If you like the video, be sure to hit like and subscribe. Any tips or criticisms you got for me on the video, please let me know, and I'll improve in the future. If you'd like to see anything in particular, just put it in the comments box, and I'll try and do a short video on it. But if that's everything, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again for the next video.